Hi, it's Hans at ahappierman.com. Today's topic is 2019 planning tips. Well, I think I had a video earlier about the difference between planning and New Year's resolutions. So this one, I just wanted to expand on this planning. This is like the perfect time. This is like early January 2019 as I'm speaking. And I've had it on my list in December and January to do my planning for the upcoming year. And I've been trying to do this for a long time, and I finally did it today. I've got it all. I've got a very nice plan, a lot of great ideas for this coming year. And I think I have a lot to offer you, because I think the key is to take the time to do the planning, and don't rush it, but you need time. So today I finally, I left work a few hours early, went to my favorite coffee shop, and spent a couple of hours planning out my 2019, and it went very well. I'm very happy. I'm very, very pleased with that. Now I do, it's not just like a one-time thing. It's like a you got to keep doing this every year, but you're going to want to spend enough time to kind of get it clarified in your mind and on paper. And that was the key, is getting it down on paper. I usually like to take, I have my planner book. Here, I'll show you what I have. I have a planner book like this. And then I also have a little planner book like this. And then I also have books like this. And so the combination of all of that material helps me to get my thoughts out of my head onto the paper. And then I keep writing them and rewriting them and thinking about them over a long enough time until it all starts to make sense to me. So I like those cheap tablets, because I can just go through those, and if you buy them for $1 a piece or less, you don't feel bad about doing a tons of writing and then most of your writing being just total nonsense, gibberish, and garbage, right? Because you don't want to fill up your little expensive little notebooks with garbage, right? You use the tablets to get the bulk of your ideas down, and then what I'll find is I will keep those tablets for long enough until I start throwing the papers away, or throw the whole tablet away, or transfer the good information from the tablet back into my journal or into my planner book. That's how I do it. I think you'll find it's probably how the majority of people who are well organized and have some success do it. It isn't just a one-time thing. This is your life, right? It's a continuous thing. You do it and you keep doing it. If something isn't quite right, you make adjustments. So today, I've got quite a few pages in my small journal, the littlest one, kind of laying out what I would consider what I want to try to get done this year. And and then the other, so that's the first thing, is the writing and writing it all down. And the second thing is taking the time to do so. Took a few hours. Now I had a lot of these ideas in my head, and I've had them in various papers. So it was all in there, but I was just trying to get to the point where I can capture it and make some sense out of it. So it's pretty much captured and pretty much made sense out of, and then from there I can start to work these things into my life to try to do them this year, because if I do them, I have a feeling that's going to give me a very successful year. And of course, that's what I want. That's the whole reason you do the planning, for your success, and you're defining your success your way, right? It isn't that you got to do this, that, and the other thing to have success. Well, no, that's the beauty of it. You decide what you want to do, And then if you get to the end of the year and you've done all those things that you wanted to do this year, wouldn't you call that a success? I would, right? You've defined what success is. And like I said, this isn't a one-time thing at the beginning of the year. Now I just have to do those things, because you may find, well, you know, as the year goes on, well, I guess that probably doesn't make sense, or you have to adapt or reevaluate. But you've got to start somewhere. You can't just let somebody else tell you what to do all the time and expect you're going to have any success or any kind of a good life. You have to decide what you want to do. So that's kind of the planning. What else? I've talked about the time. I've talked about the writing. So now I've got all these things into my little journal book. I've written them down. And the other thing is, I've tried to break down these major themes into doable goals. So there's like a lot of things that getting things done, it's easiest if things are just like a one-time thing, because then you can do that one-time thing, check it off your list, now it's done, you don't have to keep doing it. So I've had this one thing on my list for, I'm not kidding now, almost 6 years that I've wanted to do this, and it's finally it's finally scheduled. So sometimes patience is a virtue, right? 6 years. I didn't even realize it was 6 years that I've had this goal. Probably one of the reasons it's so doggone irritating is I've had it on my list for so long. So I'm looking for it. It's not done yet. It's still a couple weeks away. And of course, part of the reason I haven't done it for 6 years is extremely expensive. Some dental work, if you have to know. But yeah, I'm looking forward to having that done. And then, of course, the follow-up to that having it done is paying for it. So it's a two-part goal. And it's 2 appointments, so it's not just a simple thing, and it's many hours of effort to sit through it. But anyway, I have others, so I have quite a few of those one-time goals, you know, these one-time things that you do to improve your life. A lot of times it's very easy to go and buy something to make your life better. Like another thing on my list is to buy a computer. Well, I have a computer, but it's kind of on the last. It's old. You know, it's old enough that it's starting to bother me. So that's on my list. That's one of my 2019 plans, to buy a computer. So I've got quite a few pages of things to do in my journal for my 2019. Some of those things are a little bit hard to break down into goals. Let's say like weight training. It's very hard to break those goals down, the weight training so I have that into like a couple of different, so I've got like the total weight I want to lift on the 3 main lifts, and I've got the number of workouts I want to hit per week. So those are goals that will require extra planning and effort, extra planning to fold them into the normal routine, right? You can't just say, well, I'm going to weight train this year. Well, that would mean if you weight train one time, you've met the goal. No, that isn't what I'm talking about. It's like, well, I want to weight train every week for the entire year. Of course, I've been sick the last couple weeks, so I've already thrown my year off because haven't been lifting yet this year. But I've been sick and I've been extremely busy at work, so between the two things, I haven't lifted at all. So I'm going to have to get back on track, and I will, because weight training is something I love to do. So again, I've got, once you have that overall theme, the weight training, now what are some goals within that weight training theme that would get you farther along the path, right? It usually will be the frequency of lifting, the amount of weights you've lifted, the types of exercises you do. Maybe there's a specific lift you want to work into. There's probably a body type or body weight or muscle size or leanness you want to accomplish. So that's going to require quite a bit of detailed planning. So I've got like the high level. Now I'll have to break it down into smaller chunks. There's other health related things so that are more like one-time things, like a vision exam to get my contacts, testosterone replacement pellets and to keep that up, and then other things of that nature that are just like one-time events or once or twice a year events. Yeah, and then there's also, I have some broader themes like fun. I want to have more fun. I had a really fun year in 2016, and part of the reason I did have such a fun year is that was a major goal at the beginning of 2016. If I look back in my plans, I didn't have that goal in 2017 or 2018. I let that go, figuring, well, I'll just let the fun happen as it will. But that is far from an adequate way to do things. You've got to make plans. So I've got fun as a major goal, and then I want to expand on that fun and how am I going to do that. So I have a lot of fun things, ideas for fun listed there, and I'll have to make it a point to try to work those fun things into my life throughout the year. Same thing with travel. Well, travel isn't a goal. Getting to different places is a goal. So I have another few pages of travel ideas. Where do I want to try to get to this year? What are the ideas? How might I incorporate that? And then within the travel, you got to be open to it, because travel is expensive. You might need to make your adjustments based on cost. But also having to do with travel is a lot of times you can have the fun things you normally like to do in your hometown right in with the travel. Then it's even more fun. So you see what I'm getting at? It's all writing this down, having some ideas, keeping open in your mind. So I've had a very successful 2019 planning session. I just finished it just a few minutes ago before I started this drive, and I'm very excited to share these ideas with you. I think if you can start to make your plans this year, you're really going to have a great year. I know you will if you can take some of these ideas to heart. One, to start your planning, take your time doing it now. Here in the January, it's winter time, and I'm in the northern U.S., so it's not that great for doing things outside. And taking the time, and you probably want to go to a coffee shop. I don't know what it is, but I make a lot more progress on my writing goals when I go to a coffee shop. For whatever reason, I think people just, even though there's people and it's a little bit noisy, you make a lot of progress. And I would suggest you do that. Take your paper and your computer and your inspirational reading material to the coffee shop. Spend a little money, get something good to eat, have the coffee, and do your planning. And you might need to spend multiple times. You know, your life is worth multiple trips to get it dialed in so it's just right. Like a happier man would do that. And the writing, do the writing. Write. It's very critical that you write these things down. Don't just have them up here. Take what's up here and put it down on paper. A lot of times you'll find it's just the things you write just are kind of gibberish. I find that probably 90% of what I look back in my tablets is just kind of meaningless, and then I throw it all away. But I will find those gems, and I'll star those and highlight those and rewrite them somewhere else. And then the rewriting is good too. Don't be so lazy that you can't rewrite. The best writers in the world rewrite things hundreds of times. The plans, any types of plans, got to do it and redo it and do it and redo it. That's how it goes. That's how it is. It isn't just a one-time thing. Your life is not just a one-time thing. You got to do it and do it and do it over and over again. And figure out, and all of this is just to make your life better, to be happier, to give you that successful life that we all want and we all deserve. So give that idea some thought. All for now.